Hey, you! Yes, you! Before I begin this story, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt left behind? Like others are moving forward, chasing their dreams, while you're stuck carrying the weight of your days? You're not alone. Life can be unfair. It can be slow. But as a philosopher Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. This story isn't about royalty or warriors. It's about someone like you. Someone who started with nothing, but carried a dream quietly, like a flame in the dark. A man who was mocked, doubted, ignored, but he kept walking, kept listening, kept writing. And one day, the world turned, and he was ready. So before we begin, I just want you to know, if you're dreaming, you're already ahead. Let's begin.
In the heart of Al-Andalus, when Cordoba was the crown jewel of Islamic Spain, filled with poets, philosophers, and scholars, a young man arrived with nothing but ambition in his satchel. His name was Saeed. He had come to study, to pursue knowledge in the city of light, but the cost of living in Cordoba was steep. With no family to support him, Saeed took the only work he could find, hauling crates and heavy sacks through the dusty markets and narrow alleys. He became a porter. By day, he carried the burdens of others. By night, he borrowed candlelight to copy lines of poetry and legal texts. He listened intently to the scholars as they lectured in the courtyards, memorizing their words, even if he could not yet afford to study formally. One day, as he rested beneath the archways of the Great Mosque after a long shift, two other porters, Harith and Nabil, shared their dreams. "I want to be a wealthy merchant," said Nabil, "with bales of silk and jars of honey and ships sailing under my name." Harith smirked and stretched his legs lazily beneath the fading sun. "Dreams are for fools," he scoffed. "If I ever get lucky, maybe I'll own a mule cart so I won't have to carry sacks myself." He let out a loud laugh, nudging Nabil with his elbow. "But a merchant? Please." Nabil rolled his eyes and smiled. "Well, I still want to be a wealthy merchant," he said, "with bales of silk and jars of honey and ships sailing under my name." The two laughed, one with mockery, the other with quiet hope, before both turned their eyes to Saeed. "And you, Saeed?" Harith asked, his voice half mocking. "What would you be if you could?" Saeed paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "I want to serve in the palace, to advise the caliph, to hold a pen instead of a rope." Harith burst into laughter. "Then may I be the fool who rides a donkey backward through the city when that happens?" The others joined in the laughter. But Saeed said nothing. He only smiled and kept dreaming. He began assisting a bookseller in the Souk al-Kutayn, the paper market. He helped copy manuscripts and bind them. His writing was graceful, his Arabic precise. Over time, he opened a small booth beside the palace gates, offering his skills to anyone needing a letter scribed or a document translated. His reputation grew. One of his clients, a palace clerk, admired his precision and introduced him to the inner staff. There, Saeed began working in the palace library, first cataloging scrolls, then assisting in record keeping. But Saeed's rise was not without challenge. Court life was a maze of egos, politics, and intrigue. He was mocked for his past. Some dismissed him as a dreamer from the streets. Others feared his diligence. Still, he persisted. Saeed disagree. He said several scribe roles rose to become a secretary, then a chief scribe, then a legal advisor. When the caliph fell ill and died suddenly, the throne passed to his young son. Power was up for grabs. Ministers argued. Generals positioned themselves for control. But Saeed was calm. He ensured food reached the people. He kept the court running. He negotiated with neighboring governors. He was trusted. Eventually, the Queen Mother and senior officials appointed him Hajib, the chief administrator. But Saeed did more than administer. He led. He forged alliances, reformed taxes, defended borders. He became the true power behind the throne, yet he never wore a crown. As Saeed walked through the palace halls now, ministers bowed. Foreign envoys awaited his word. He commanded armies without lifting a sword, and he never forgot the archway where three dreamers once laughed. One quiet morning, he summoned his guard. "There are two men," he said, "who once shared bread and dreams with me. Bring me Harith and Nabil." The city searched. Harith they found tending a vineyard, Nabil now a modest merchant. They were brought to the palace, confused and fearful. Before them stood a man in fine robes with a trimmed beard and commanding presence. But his eyes, they were the same. "Saeed," whispered Harith. Saeed smiled. "Do you remember your dreams?" Nabil nodded, awestruck. "I dreamed of trade and respect. I never imagined." "You shall have it," said Saeed. "A license to trade across the empire and land to call your own." Then he turned to Harith, whose face had paled. "And you," Saeed said gently, "do you recall your words?" Harith stammered. "It was jest, a joke, but it was spoken," Saeed said. "And words, even in jest, have weight." That evening in the city square, people gathered as drums echoed through the streets. A man was led through the crowd on a donkey, riding backward. Laughter rippled through the square, but there was no malice. Only marvel at how life could twist fates and lift the forgotten. Later, alone on his balcony, Saeed looked up at the stars. He did not crave power nor revenge. What he desired was simpler, to prove that greatness was not born, but made. This tale, though wrapped in legend, echoes the life of one of Al-Andalus's greatest statesmen, known to history as Al-Mansur. He too rose from humble beginnings to become the most powerful man in the land. And though the donkey may be a parable, the journey was real. So let them laugh at the donkey. The wise will listen to the lesson.
If you've made it this far into the story, take a moment, just a moment, and listen to me, like a friend. Sometimes life feels like a loop, same routine, postponed dreams, and people laughing when we speak about our ambitions. But listen, big dreams start with small steps. Saeed had no money, no power, no connections, just scrolls on his back, and a dream in his heart. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Saeed had his why, and he had patience. The same people who mocked him, they ended up applauding him. Never underestimate yourself. Don't let others define your path. Thomas Edison once said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." You might not see results today, but when you plant the intention and keep moving, even slowly, the road begins to open. And truly, from the heart, I hope you make it. Let Saeed's journey remind you, even from narrow alleyways, some people rise higher than anyone imagined. Don't rush, but don't stop. And if this story touched you, share it with someone who might need it. Maybe, just maybe, it could change something for them.